He's trying to recreate the golden age of flying in his own image. As creative director of the airline Qantas, he's designing their entire aesthetic. The airport lounges, everything in them, and of course, the plane interiors. It's a huge job. Newson thinks that most things in this sector are really badly designed. So what's he done to improve things?
There are so many things about this, you know, the colour palette. I mean, it may seem a little sombre, but honestly, when you're trying to sleep, it's far more kind of calming than bright, glaring kind of colours. It's really, really simple stuff a lot of the time. You know, like water bottle holders, it's like a place to hang your jacket, a place to put magazines and menus, a little reading light there, another one here, handles. So when you want to get out to the aisle to go to the loo, you don't inadvertently scalp the person in front of you. And it's also for older people who, or younger people, people that are not, necessarily so kind of athletic, but I hate to sound ageist, but we have had lots of compliments on that function. A seat that translates into a bed and does everything in between. It's a machine, essentially. Each one of these is a very complicated machine.
Marc Newson's airline work has been shown in museums round the world. He's proud of what he's doing here, but now he wants to take things a whole lot further than just 30,000 feet. In the heart of historic Paris, he's putting the finishing touches to his latest, very futuristic project. It's his biggest challenge yet.
We need to brace like this and a little bit, and then I just need to get the time and go and get a tool, and I can fix it.
Today, Marc's launching the Spaceplane. The clue's in the name. It's a jet-rocket hybrid, a suborbital craft.
Nothing like this really has ever existed before, so I could never have imagined that a project like this would ever be coming to a designer like me. I certainly could never have imagined going into space 20 years ago, but it looks like in 3 or 4 years we may be able to go into space. We really have a fantastic chance to see this thing through to reality, and I'm really looking forward to that. Thank you very much.
This all represents a serious foray into the brave new world of space tourism. Marc's been hired by EADS Astrium. They make things for the International Space Station and for the Ariane rockets. But you can't go for a ride in them. You will be able to go up in this for £150,000. Whether you fancy a trip or not, designing for zero gravity has certainly put Marc's ingenuity to the test.
When I was approached by Astrium to do this project, they'd already been working on it for quite some time in a sort of the Astrium skunk works. This was a secret project. So they came to me knowing that it was achievable and knowing that it had already gotten to a certain point. So it wasn't a blank canvas. This was all done in a period of about 6 months. I really just had to sit down and apply myself and just, concentrate and come up with some good ideas pretty quickly.
This is obviously a critical part of it, these seats.
Yeah. The seat, the way the seat is designed is really one of the most important features of this craft. As you can see, they're not really like anything you will have seen before.
It's like a cradle, this.
It's basically a high-tech hammock. That's the concept. Because what happens is when the craft takes off,
yeah,
it's basically horizontal, climbs like a normal aircraft. And then at a certain altitude, the rocket kicks in, and the craft goes from being almost horizontal to almost vertical within a very short space of time. Of course, when you're going straight up, you can't remain in that position because you'd just fall out. But the way that the seat works, the weight of your body combined with gravity pushes the seat twists the seat sideways, like this. So as the aircraft turns, the position of your body relative to the Earth remains the same right throughout this entire transition to an almost vertical position.
Right.
So that's the principle. So there's no actuation, there's no motors, it's just the gravity, it's the weight of your body that's enabling you to turn, so you're constantly facing upwards. You get to a point where you reach 0G, which is to say effectively you're in space at that point.
Yeah, and what happens at that point?
Well, you start, there'll be seat belts, obviously. You'll float out of the seats, and that's when you grab onto these things, and you can sort of navigate your way around the interior.
You hold on to these and you're basically freeform, you're floating.
You're just floating around. I mean, you'll have no orientation because the aircraft will be sort of turning in space. You'll be turning. So, there's no up and down anymore. There's no, you're weightless.
Wherever you happen to float, you'll never be short of a good view. All these windows are a key part of the design. But is this just about day trips for rich people, or is there more to it than that?
Could you, as a consequence of this experience, could we find ourselves being able to fly to Australia via space and get there in an hour?
That's what this is all about. The best way for people to travel long distances in a very, very short period of time is to leave the Earth's atmosphere. And, then it's relatively easy. When a craft like this is able to do that, albeit for a joyride, we'll know that the technology works, and I'm almost certain that that'll be the next step.
Space has been a lifelong inspiration to Marc Newson. And with this audacious project, he may well be on the way up there himself.
It's a complete dream come true. If this thing happens, then in a couple of years I'll be going into space, I guess.
Yeah, I wish I could come with you.
Well, maybe you can. There's space for 4, so we could rent it and bring a couple of friends.
Well, I'm game. While we're up there, do go to our website and download a very special project by Marc. I'll be back in time for the next series, all being well. See you then. Are you sure this is a good idea?
So, Imagine returns with that new series later in the year. Next on BBC One, Natalie Portman and Scarlett Johansson talk about their new movie, The Other Berlin Girl. It's filmed 2008.